In our last lecture, we studied that bioenergetics is the study of energy of transduction, that is, the conversion of energy or information from one form to another, which occurs in the living cells or the cell membranes or in the system of the functions of the chemical processes which is being carried out in the living beings, that is plants and animals. Now, biological energy. The first question arises, what is biological energy? Biological energy is actually, when we strictly feel or restrict ourselves to the definition only, biological energy refers to the chemical potentials which is produced and consumed by number of the reactions carried out in the living being by many interwoven reactions which takes place within the compartments of living matter, that is the cells, the organs, and the various processes or reactions which are carried out in the systems of living being. But these processes are perhaps better known or collectively known as metabolism. Now, in living being, we know that the energy is carried out by means which is being carried out, that is released, and the formation of energy is a very complex process. But in the case of the non-living matter, the matter is, when broken down, the chemical energy is released as heat, and the heat liberated and it is converted, then it is used or converted into mechanical, electrical and various form of energy, because these systems are anisothermal, that is, they do not maintain a constant temperature. जब हम नॉन बायोलॉजिकल सिस्टम या नॉन लिविंग बीइंग्स के बारे में बात करते हैं तो हम ये देखते हैं कि जहाँ पे ऊर्जा निकलती और उनके द्वारा जो ली जाती है नॉन लिविंग बीइंग्स में, वो एनर्जी डायरेक्टली यूज्ड होती है, चाहे वो एनर्जी मैकेनिकल हो, इलेक्ट्रिकल हो या किसी भी फॉर्म ऑफ एनर्जी में हो। नॉन लिविंग बीइंग्स में एक खासियत ये होती है कि दैट दे डू नॉट मेंटेन अ कांस्टेंट टेम्परेचर, उनका ये कोई स्थिर ताप नहीं होता है, उनका ताप बहुत ज़्यादा भी हो सकता है, बहुत कम हो सकता है। बट opposite to this, in the living being, the living beings have a fixed body temperature, जिसको हम हीमोआइसोथर्मल बोलते हैं, और ऑप्टिमम रेंज ऑफ टेम्परेचर कहलाते हैं, विच इज़ इक्वल टू दैट ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट। इसके विपरीत क्या होता है, जो लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म होते हैं उनका एक स्थिर बॉडी का तापमान होता है। ये जो तापमान होता है वो मैक्सिमम टेम्परेचर होता है, किसी भी बॉडी में रह सकता है, और वो जो टेम्परेचर होता है वो एनवायरनमेंट के लगभग बराबर होता है। इस प्रक्रिया को हम किलो थर्मल कहते हैं, और दिस फिनोमेना, that is the constant body temperature equal to that of environment, is known as poikilothermal. The rise and the fall of body temperature is only by a few degrees from the constant or optimum temperature, and when it rises above that, it has an adverse effect on the structure of the function of living cells. Thus, living cells cannot use heat energy directly to perform work. अब हम ये कह सकते हैं क्योंकि लिविंग बीइंग्स के अंदर, या जो भी बायोलॉजिकल लिविंग बीइंग्स हैं, या जैसे ह्यूमन बॉडी का एग्जाम्पल लें, कि उनका एक स्थिर बॉडी का तापमान होता है। इस स्थिर तापमान से अगर ज़्यादा या कम हो तो ये कहा जाता है कि उनके बॉडी के जो फंक्शन हैं वो सही ढंग से काम नहीं कर रहे हैं, और ये जो टेम्परेचर, जो स्थिर तापमान होता है, वो लगभग एनवायरनमेंट के ही बराबर होता है। और इस प्रक्रिया में, ये जो प्रक्रिया है वो नॉन लिविंग बीइंग से बिल्कुल अलग है। लिविंग बीइंग्स के अंदर जो प्रक्रिया होती है वो किसी डायरेक्टली नहीं होती, वो एक इंटरमीडिएटरी कंपाउंड्स के द्वारा होती है, जो कि जो ली गई ऊर्जा है और दी गई ऊर्जा का एक बीच का माध्यम स्थापित करते हैं. That is, the living systems cannot use the heat energy directly to perform work. They need an intermediary product which is capable of, first, receiving energy of chemical oxidation directly from the oxidative or energy releasing processes. That is, you can say that it is catabolic or it is an exergonic process. Secondly, the energy which is received directly is stored in molecules and then supplying it directly to the energy consuming processes. मतलब जो ऊर्जा निकली है किसी भी डायरेक्टली, जो ऊर्जा या रिसीविंग ऑर्गन है वो उसको अपने अंदर स्टोर या संग्रहित करती है और फिर जब ज़रूरत पड़ती है तो उसको डायरेक्टली उसको एनर्जी देती है. ये जो प्रोसेस है विच जो भी एनर्जी कंज्यूमिंग है तो हम ये कह सकते हैं ये एनाबॉलिक प्रोसेस है. ऑब्वियसली द एनर्जी इज स्टोर्ड बाय दिस कंपाउंड इज एनर्जी यूज्ड बाय द लिविंग सिस्टम एंड दिस इज नोन एज बायोलॉजिकल एनर्जी. मतलब जो ऊर्जा निकली है वो एक चीज़ में संग्रहित है और जब भी ज़रूरत पड़ती है तो वो ऊर्जा वापस से देती है. तो जो इंटरमीडिएटरी माध्यम है वो एक बायोलॉजिकल स्टोर हाउस का काम करती है. अब ये जो लिविंग बीइंग्स के अंदर जो प्रोसेस है ये एक फॉस्फोराइलेटेड ग्रुप्स के द्वारा होता है. ये जो दो बायोलॉजिकल सिस्टम के अंदर दो फॉस्फोराइलेटेड ग्रुप्स होते हैं, एडिनोसिन मोनोफॉस्फेट और एडिनोसिन ट्राइफॉस्फेट. अब ये जो कंपाउंड्स हैं, या we can say that the system of biological energy is carried out by the two phosphorylated groups of compounds, that is adenosine monophosphate and adenosine triphosphates. Triphosphates act as a carrier of biological energy which is used to drive a variety of metabolic, particularly anabolic biosynthesis reaction in the cells. And ATP is the universal energy carrier or energy exchanger in the cells. All organisms use a two-step process to provide the energy needed for most of the biological activities. लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म के अंदर ये जो प्रोसेस होता है वो दो स्टेप्स के अंदर होता है. फर्स्ट, chemical energy from the organic molecules like glucose is used to make ATP. This process is called cellular respiration. And then ATP provides energy for most of the biological process. मतलब यहाँ पे क्या है कि पहले जो भी एनर्जी होती है वो ATP के अंदर स्टोर्ड होती है. जब ज़रूरत पड़ती है तो ATP इसको सारे जो भी बायोलॉजिकल प्रोसेसेस हैं उसमें एनर्जी प्रोवाइड करती है. तो एक तरह से ATP इज़ द स्टोर हाउस ऑफ द एनर्जी, इसको संग्रहित करती है. नाउ ATP साइकिल. ATP was discovered as an energy exchange compound in all biological system. The two phosphorylated of the adenosine of the five compounds are adenosine monophosphate and adenosine triphosphate. The triphosphate act as a carrier of bioenergy which is used to derive a wide variety of metabolic processes, particularly anabolic, that is biosynthetic reactions in the cells, and ATP is a universal energy carrier or energy exchanger in the cells. Then Lippmann established a system that is ADP converts into ATP and ATP converts into ADP and forms a cycle of energy exchange. And this is known, और इसको एक शटल का, that is this is the bioenergy shuttle. The bioenergy shuttle can be seen in the figure. Here you can see that when energy is required, ATP furnishes or releases out a phosphate group. This process is carried on by hydrolysis, and this is an endergonic reaction and forms ADP. When ADP undergoes phosphorylation, that is addition of one phosphate group, it forms an ADP, and this process is hexagonic process, and the reaction is hexagonic reaction. Participating in energy liberating hexagonic reaction, ADP molecules directly receive the liberated energy and store it by the formation of a higher energy anhydride bond, which is a new phosphate group, and thereby transforming into ATP molecule. Conversely, the ATP molecules precipitate in energy consuming process and energy transferring reactions and hydrolyzed to ATP molecules, donating a bond energy stored in their terminal anhydride bond to the concerned reaction. That is why the energy stored in ATP is called as bioenergy. Now in this figure, you can see the role of ATP in the cellular metabolism and other uses of biological energy. In this figure, you can see that ATP-ADP cycle. This is the ATP-ADP cycle. Here you can see that the first reaction which carried out by ATP is that when the energy is required by any cellular processes, that is, or a system, anabolic biosynthesis of macromolecules, or active transport, or secretion, or any mechanical work done or in doing any electrical work. To release out energy, one phosphate group is broken and bond energy is released, and the energy is utilized for these works. On giving out phosphate group, it forms ADP. Now ADP in turn synthesizes ATP by taking one phosphate group to form by the process of phosphorylation to form ATP. Here you can see that glucose in gradual degradation in catabolism, it releases out carbon dioxide and water and liberate out energy, and one phosphate group from this is taken up by ADP to form ATP. So we can see here there are two reactions. First is hydrolysis, which breaks up phosphate group, and second is phosphorylation, which utilizes a group. In this process, ATP is changed into ADP, and ADP in turn, accepting phosphate group, converts into ATP or forms ADP molecules. Now in the next lecture, we will study the two processes. First is hydrolysis of ATP and phosphorylation of ADP in detail. Thank you.